Episode 1. Allison Burton stared at the divorce papers on the table and realized that her husband had already signed them. Then, she looked toward the window. Jeremy Walsh's upright figure reflected in her watery eyes. He looked charming under the afternoon sun, but also cold and domineering. Even from behind, he radiated aloofness. "I've signed it. You should also hurry and sign it. I want to finish all the legal procedures before Leah returns." Jeremy had his hands clasped behind him and didn't turn to look at her. "We've already agreed on the assets before marriage, so there won't be any issues with that. However, I will compensate you with another $20 million and a villa on the outskirts. After all, you'd be leaving without anything else. It'd be hard for me to explain that to Grandpa later if you do." Allison was stunned and upset. Does Grandpa know you're divorcing me? So, what if he knows? Do you think it'll affect my decision? After hearing that, Allison felt faint and grasped the table tightly. Then, she asked softly while on the verge of tears, "Jeremy, can we not get a divorce?" Finally, Jeremy turned around and looked at her with a strange gaze. He had thin lips, deep eyes, and fierce features. Allison would still feel a flutter in her heart when she looked at his perfectly contoured face. "Why?" "Because I love you." Allison's eyes were red and filled with tears. "I love you, Jeremy. I still want to be your wife, even if you don't have any feelings for me." "Allison Burton, I've had enough. Every second is torture to me in this loveless marriage." Jeremy waved his hand. He didn't have the patience to listen to her anymore. "It was a mistake that you married me. You knew I was fighting with Grandpa. You also knew I had feelings for someone else, and we couldn't be together. Now that the 3-year period is up and Leah is returning from Mosgravia, it's time you vacate the position of Mrs. Walsh." Allison had her head down, and her tears fell onto the table. She quickly wiped them away. Still, Jeremy saw it, and his gaze became deeper. At this time, his phone rang. When he saw the caller, he quickly answered it. "Leah, have you boarded the plane?" His tone was extremely soft. He was totally unlike the indifferent, cold man that Allison knew. "Jeremy, I'm already at Solana City Airport." Leah's excited voice sounded through the phone. "What? Didn't you say you would fly tonight? I wanted to give you a surprise. Leah, wait for me. I'll pick you up right now." With that, he quickly walked past Allison. Once the study room door closed, the depressed atmosphere remained. Allison had had a crush on Jeremy for 10 years, and they were married for 3 years. She had given her all for this family and stayed loyal to him. Yet, in the end, he only felt as though it was torture. Now that Jeremy was finally freed, he ruthlessly abandoned her, excited to marry his first love. Allison felt pain in her heart. She could never make him fall for her no matter how hard she tried. After that, she took a deep breath and shook her head as tears fell onto Jeremy's name on the divorce papers. That night, Jeremy took Liana Gardner back to Seaview Manor. The delicate woman was being held in his arms. They entered the villa in a dignified manner, attracting everyone's attention. "Jeremy, you haven't divorced Allison yet. I don't think it's a good idea for us to be so close. Allison would be mad at me." Liana caressed Jeremy's chest as she spoke. "She won't." Jeremy didn't hesitate. "I don't love her anyway. We're just in a contractual relationship. She knows her place." Everyone in the Walsh family surrounded Liana and showed their concern. Only Allison was left alone in the dining room, getting dinner ready. Amid the chaos, Jeremy caught a glimpse of his wife's lonely figure and smirked. He thought, even at this point, she's still like a loyal maid, serving the Walshes. Does she think there would be a chance for things to turn around? Ridiculous. "Mr. Walsh. Mr. Walsh." The butler suddenly rushed over in a panic. "Madam Allison, she left." "Left? When did she leave?" Just a moment ago." "She didn't take anything." After she removed her apron, she left from the back door and was picked up in a black car. Jeremy rushed to the bedroom to find it immaculate. Only a signed divorce agreement was on the bedside, and he could still see the tear stains. He frowned and walked to the window. A Rolls-Royce sped away from the Seaview Manor and soon vanished into the dark. Wasn't she unwilling to leave in the afternoon? Now she's quick to disappear. Displeased, Jeremy called his secretary. Find out who's the owner of the car with the plate A9999.
Yes.
Mr. Walsh. After 5 minutes, his secretary called. Mr. Walsh, we've found it. The car belongs to the president of KS Group. The president of KS Group? Allison came from a village. She was poor with no outstanding background. She didn't even have any friends during their 3 years together. How could she know the president of KS Group? Had she moved on so quickly and found herself another man? Mr. Walsh, did you really divorce Madam Allison today? The secretary asked tentatively. What's the matter? Can't I do it today? When do you think I should divorce her then? Jeremy was furious. It's her birthday today. Jeremy was taken aback when he heard that. On the back seat of the Rolls-Royce, Jonah Taylor took Allison's hand and gently squeezed it. When Silas heard you were coming back, he prepared a bunch of fireworks to welcome you. I'm not in the mood for fireworks. Now, she had returned to her status as a scion of the Taylor family. She leaned on her eldest brother's shoulder and sighed. Her eyes glistened with tears. Then, she glanced at Allison Burton's phone to read the last message there. It was not from her ex-husband, but from Liana. What did I tell you? You'll have to give me back my position after you stole it from me. Jeremy is mine. Don't even dream about getting him to stay with you. She smiled wryly and finally came to her senses after shedding one last tear. What's the matter? Can't you bear to leave? Jonah hugged her, his heart aching for his sister. Jonah, it's my birthday today. I know. That bastard should be struck by lightning for choosing today to do this to you. That's why I don't feel like I can't bear to leave. Jeremy killed Allison Burton today. When Alyssa Taylor opened her eyes again, she no longer showed any sentiments for Jeremy. I finally get to be free. If I ever go back, I'm better off dead. Liana was the niece of Jeremy's father's current wife, so she got along well with the family during dinner. In contrast, Jeremy was the only one with a frown and no appetite. Allison had left with Jonah and taken nothing with her, including the $20 million and the villa. Where's Allison? Why, isn't she joining us for dinner? Jeremy's father, Javier Walsh, asked. We're divorced. The papers are already signed. We will go through the procedures soon and get the divorce certificate. Jeremy looked down as he answered. Shocked, Javier asked, Divorce? Why? Javier, I told you Jeremy and Allison aren't a good match. Still, your father forced them to get married. His wife, Sophia Kirkman, couldn't help but sigh. She suffered a lot during these 3 years. It's a good thing for them both that she's finally let go. Now they can live their own lives. You know that Jeremy has always been in love with Leah. Jeremy, marriage isn't child's play. Moreover, Dad, we've signed the divorce papers. Allison has also left, and she didn't take anything with her. Jeremy frowned irritatedly.
Full story is available at novelpalace.com. Click the link in the comment section to get it free.